Welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talks Astros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can they find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter and at Astros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive. I'm positive that I hate West Coast games, always Stros.
I'm going to be looking up how to break some type of Egyptian curse on how to break the curse of the Abraham Toro, because this guy has crushed the Astros. And this was the game is still going on, and the game just ended right now. So the Astros lose 4-0. And so that was a brutal grand slam against your former team, against the player that you essentially were traded for. And that was a cold-blooded, back in the old days with Cold-Blooded 3 by Mario Ellie or Ori or
the kiss of death. You're talking about the kiss of death in the early 90s. The kids may not know what we're talking about, but the Rockets actually won 2 world championships. Yeah. And if I can, even if Michael Jordan was playing those 2 years, Akeem Olajuwon still would have shredded the Bulls. I'm on record saying that.
Yeah, so speaking of which, today's episode is brought to you by Spotify Green Room. Download the app and join us this week. We'll probably do it on Friday or Saturday, and we'll typically do it like either before the game or after the game. And we actually had a really good discussion this last week. And Spotify Green Room, it's changing the way you talk about the sports. And so anyway, today's game was much different than the last time. Last time we faced Kikuchi, I believe that we had like 7 runs and 2.2 innings and at Minmay Park, and this time he threw 7 scoreless innings, and it just looks like the Astros had no clue today. It was 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. So it wasn't like he was like dominating them with the strikeouts. It just was like they were hitting it right to the outfielders.
Well, they got 6 hits. They got 2 more hits in the 9th, but
but that's in the.
But they get 4 hits against Kikuchi. But I'm saying, like, as a team, they only had 6 hits. And I mean, you and I were at those games. We were at both games. I mean, all those runs and all those hits. And I think Callis and Blummer were talking about it early in the game. When Kikuchi is on, I mean, he's nails. When he's off, he's way off.
Speaking of which, Lance McCullers was not really on top of his game today. Yes, he only gave up 4 hits. Yes, he allowed a lot of traffic. He threw 102 pitches, 57 of those were strikes. So that's 40 something of those are balls. That's way too much for Lance McCullers. He threw 30 pitches in the first inning. That is a really worrisome for your ace to be throwing that many pitches in the first inning. And so he's got to go deeper into games. And I know that he's still struggling. He's still trying to figure things out. And to his credit, he didn't allow any runs.
Yeah.
To his credit. I mean, I'm not dissing him, but he's got to find a way to limit the runners on base, and he did find a way to shut it down. That's the good thing about him.
With the 4 hits and 3 walks, only having 3 strikeouts, you would assume that having that kind of line that you would have runs scored. And the Mariners' offense was just as inept as the Astros. The Mariners only had 1 guy score all the runs, and that was Abraham Toro. Don't talk to me about, the Astros lost the trade or Abraham Toro and the Mariners won the trade. Let's wait to see where they are at the course of their career. See where they are at the end of their stints with their teams. You don't win or lose a trade because of 1 home run. Period. End of story.
Right. You know what I'm getting sick of? I know you go on your rants. I want to go on a freaking rant for once. I am so sick of people on Twitter. Every time Dusty Baker sits somebody, why did you start Diaz today over Michael Brantley? These guys need a rest. These guys need a rest. Michael Brantley's old. He needs a rest.
He's there. You go, Eric. Good job. I'm I'm over questioning all the different moves. It's actually kind of exhausting over 162 game seasons,
Yeah.
season. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. Diaz was 0 for 4 tonight. He came up and
He's
he
0 for
didn't.
16 in his last
Yeah, he's in a
round start.
slump right now. I mean,
Yeah,
hey,
as hot as he was, yeah, you knew that was the law averages were gonna catch up to him.
yeah.
It's
Yeah, and
baseball.
so I mean, yeah, I mean, tonight you just say baseball, and that happens. I mean, one good hit. Graveman, I don't necessarily know that he's hurt. I know everybody's speculating. Oh, is he hurt? He needs to go to the IL. It looks like he is. I believe, and I'll give him credit for this because it made sense. Des from Apollo tonight on Twitter said he's not pitching, he's just throwing. He said it looks like there's something mechanic going on with Graveman. Like he doesn't look comfortable up there. It looks like he's working on his mechanics. Something's not right. And that's what I've learned this year. I've paid a lot of attention to that, Eric. And when a pitcher's mechanic, especially someone like Framber Valdez, who has a very complicated delivery, like we talked with Mike Stanton, that can throw everything off. Because Graveman has been nails. I mean, Graveman has been very solid for the Astros, and he looked very pedestrian in this game.
He is human after all, too, and
He is.
I know that first pitch that Maldonado didn't like that the first pitch that allowed for a walk, that ninth pitch, it was a little bit low, and so I know Maldonado thought it was a strike. That second strike, that actual strikeout, that was out of zone, and the umpire called a strikeout. And then who was it? France got actually hit by the pitch, and that loaded the bases right before Toro. And I thought France, I mean, I'm sure they're teammates and everything, so they're probably cool. But I tweeted out like, "Oh, I'm surprised that France didn't go out there because that mean old Astros pitcher, evil pitcher, hit him." So, but yeah, I put the like close eyes emoji, the monkey thing, and I'm like, I didn't want to watch it because you remember at the game, I knew something bad was about to happen. I knew something bad was about to happen there, and so I kind of walked away, and I went to the bathroom, and I'm like, I don't want to watch it. And
So
I
what
knew
you're
exactly what was
saying
gonna happen.
is this is your fault.
No,
You're taking the blame for the loss. So
no, I
I'm
just
joking. I'm
knew
giving you a hard
the
time. Right.
situation. I
Oh no,
saw the way that Graveman was
I
pitching, and
was
I
not
kind of
shocked. Like
yeah.
I didn't even throw my hands up. I mean, not that I'm in the living room with anybody. Everybody's in bed in my house, and I'm just sitting there going, "Well, yep, that's seems about right for this scenario." That kind of game when you don't score any runs, you're not going to win games. What are you looking at?
Somebody on Twitter said, "I think France slept with his wife, Major League Dorn," from that movie.
Wow, wow.
It's a quote from a movie.
I know. Oh, I know. It's all good.
And then
Yeah,
somebody else said, I thought for a moment he was going to charge the mound. It's all a joke, but yeah, it was a weird situation. But in those type of games where it's a nothing eighth inning, something's got to break. And the Astros had to go to the bullpen in the fifth inning. The Mariners didn't have to go to bullpen until the eighth inning. So when you go through your bullpen arms like you did in today's game, you're eventually going to have somebody who's having a bad day. And that's what happened today. So, and unfortunately, we could talk about this later with maybe some of the fans this weekend on
yeah.
Spotify Green Room.
Yeah, so this episode is brought to you by Green Room. Green Room is the first social audio platform made for sports fans. This app is free to download. And once you're in, you can talk with myself. You can talk with other fans. You can talk with Eric, the man Huysman, as well, other athletes, insiders, real time about your favorite team or sport. We will be hosting rooms for Locked On Astros this week, Friday or Saturday. Be watching for the notice. Now, what you need to do is download the app on your phone, on your iOS device, then follow myself, H-Town Wheelhouse, or Eric Huysman. Look for him, and then join several groups. Join the MLB group, the NFL group, the NHL group, whatever sport you're into. Find the group, and then when those discussions pop up, you will be notified. You will have a chance to chat with us. Be sure to join us this week. Go download the free Green Room app today, currently available on all iOS devices. This is changing the way that we talk about sports.
So leave it to Chandler Rome to bring a little light at the end of the tunnel about all those people saying the Astros lost his trade. Remember, the Astros did win yesterday's game off of who? That was Joe Smith. So now,
yeah, like winning trades, losing trades. That's I mean,
it's still too early.
But I think too, it's more banter back and forth. I know a lot of things are said. It's kind of like when you're joking back and forth with your friends and your buddies, you're cutting at each other. You know, it's really not that serious. They didn't lose this game because of Dusty. They didn't lose this game because they lost the trade. But if I told you, Eric, that I was going to have these four relief pitchers in the lineup, Garcia, Taylor, Graveman, and Belak. And I said, which one of these one relievers is going to give up runs? Graveman, yeah, Graveman would not be the guy that you
Right.
pick. And that's just how this game goes.
Plus, he's pitching back at where he pitched. He was comfortable. That's where he was trading from. Maybe there was some pressure pitching back there, pitching because he didn't pitch when last time in Seattle.
That's
So
true. I didn't think about that. There may be some mental juju going on. They may have a Graveman Jobu like reverse thing where it's not good luck for him. But hey, they basically you basically put this one on the shelf and you go into tomorrow. It's a day game, I believe, and you don't even think about this game. You go into Wednesday's game and you're like,
Right.
okay, new day.
Before we talk about all the
Yeah.
big news of the day, the Astros, Dusty Baker said that his goal for this whole season was to win 15 games every month. They didn't do that in April. In April, they won 14 games. In May, they won 15. In June, they won 19. In July, they won 16. If they would have won today's game, they would have won 15 games. Unfortunately, they were 14 and 13 in August.
So does that mean the Astros are running laps or running pole to pole right now and in T-Mobile Park because they didn't get to the 15th win? Is he making them do push-ups and burpees and punishment like good old coaching?
I think everybody's offering support to Graveman because I'm pretty sure he is. This probably does not happen to him a lot, at least not this year. In the past, probably yes.
Well, these are pro athletes, and you run them like you're running around the stadium 5 times. And I'm joking.
I don't think Dusty Baker.
No, these are pros. They're not little leaguers. I'm completely joking, but I'm really not. As a coach, so I'd be like, you guys are running.
The Astros are still 78 and 54, and grand slams happen. It's baseball.
Hey, it's Toro, dude. He's got 3 in his career. Did you know that?
Hey, breaking tea. That would be a good T-shirt. Grand slams happen.
Grand slams happen. And you know what else happens, Eric?
What?
Built bars. Built bars happen. And when you've given up a grand slam, you want a Built Bar, don't you?
Yes.
You want me to talk about Built Bar right now?
Go ahead.
So Built Bar is the best tasting protein bar in the business. They are wrapped in 100% chocolate. They are basically a protein bar that is a candy bar all in one. And it's healthy for you. For the healthy conscious guy or girl, I want you to go grab a Built Bar. Go to Built.com and use a promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off your first order. If you look in my fridge, you'll see Built Bars all over the place. You'll see coming to my mailbox every other week, we have a box of Built Bars because we love them. We consume them. They're great for us. Most of them have 17 to 18 grams of protein, 130 to 180 calories, 4 to 5 grams of sugars, and 4 to 5 grams of net carbs. So whether you are on the go, whether you're working out, or whether you're trying to start a new lifestyle, go to Built.com and get your Built Bars today. Use a promo code LOCK15 for 15% off your first order at BuiltBar.com.
All right, so it's pretty hard to stay up late nights and listen to these games on the radio, I'm pretty sure. So you can't watch the game unless you have DirecTV or some other device, some other system. So tell us about DirecTV.
Yeah, so DirecTV, does this sound familiar to you? You've got one device that lets you catch the game live, another that lets you stream your favorite shows. You're watching sports highlights on your phone. You've got your neighbor's best friends log in for the good stuff. Well, I want to tell you about a simple way to get all your entertainment that you love without the hassle, and a great way to finally get your TV together. It's called DirecTV Stream, and it brings your live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before, so you can watch your favorite sports, movies, shows all in one place. That means no more juggling remotes and no need to buy another device ever again. And the best part, there's no annual contract. You don't have to get roped into one of those things. So get rid of the clutter, get rid of the confusion, and get TV together with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more at directv.com. That's directv.com. Compatible device required. Content varies by package.
Thoughts by Dusty.
After today's game, this is what Dusty Baker had to say. Damn it. That was a tough game to lose.
Really? He said that? We've got to put an E on this episode because of Dusty Baker.
Thank
Wow.
you, Dusty Baker. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. But
You could have said D or no.
I know, but it was more effective by doing that. So.
I like that. I think that was your best Thoughts by Dusty quote of all time.
Alrighty, so something that Brian McTaggart tweeted out earlier, and I didn't realize it was this bad. Jose Altuve in August, he slashed 245, 303, 318 with 0 home runs, 3 RBIs, in 26 games.
Wow. Yeah, he still only has 25 home runs. He hasn't hit a home run since the trade deadline. Right. And so he's not hitting very well. And I actually posed the question, if Jose Altuve averages 158 hits and over the next 8 seasons, he can get to 3,000. And I asked everybody, will he get to 3,000? I guess about 80%, maybe homer votes, said yes. But one of our loyal listeners, Alex, did say, not if he has, months like this, not if he has seasons like this. He's got to back closer to 300. And he's kind of been struggling, I think, overall. He's still 308 career. He's still pretty high up there, but it's just one of those things where you want to see Altuve hitting because he is a very good hitter, and you hope that his bat heats up come playoff time. Right.
So also Dusty Baker did say after the game they are keeping an eye on Kendall Graveman's workload more than anything. So apparently there's nothing wrong with him health-wise. They're just kind of watching him. That's why you don't see him. So it's funny how yesterday it was more, we already had Stanek up, so we just used him instead of Graveman. Now they're saying, he had a bad day. We're watching his workload. So make up your mind. So
yeah, that's been a constant thing, and I know we're talking about roster moves here, but it just seems like there's been a lot more ambiguity this year out of the Astros than what I would like.
So on Tuesday, it was a pretty busy day. Zack Greinke and Taylor Jones, they are no longer on the Astros active roster. They were placed on the IL, I don't know if they were calling the IL.
Health and safety protocol, right?
Health and safety protocol, a.k.a. the COVID list. The Astros don't like to use the word COVID. I think there have only been 2 confirmed COVID cases this year for the Astros, and that was Jose Altuve and Kyle Tucker, just because Kyle Tucker came back and said, yeah, I had COVID. Yeah. So
that was a good Tucker impression, man. You're on a roll tonight.
So basically, so what happened was, you had Josh James and Robel Garcia on the taxi squad. So guess what? They're up. And for Pete's sake, can you please drop the Robel Garcia stuff?
Wait, who are you talking to? Me?
You, yes.
You started it. This is your fan. You're fanboy.
You're like, every time somebody says something about Robel Garcia, you're like, "Ooh,
hey, we will air out our differences off the air, okay?" But as far as the legend of Robel Garcia and Eric Huysman, that will live on. It's legendary, Eric. It's what the fans want. I'm just giving them what they want to hear.
All righty. So, but basically, what happened was, I don't know when they tested positive or if that's even what happened. So those 2 players, I would nothing against either one of them, but I wouldn't see them mingling too much together. So,
they I guess they do this contact tracing. I mean, there is some like method to the madness of the whole COVID protocol thing. And I mean, they have to meet certain criteria in order to go on that list. And they're probably 2 completely unrelated things. So, but Greinke's wife is actually expecting another baby. I don't know if you knew that. Well, and so, I think they just announced it like on Instagram or whatever. But it's just one of those things that maybe it's good that they know this, and I know they're on the road, and so that's probably good for for his family to make sure everything's okay. But yeah, I mean, look, you got a guy. I know we give him a hard time, but look, if you're on the major league roster, if you're still with the Astros 40-man roster, they see something in you, and he may have to contribute. And who knows, after tonight's output or lack thereof, I guess any bats are welcome right now.
Right. So there's nobody on the taxi squad right now, with the exception of Michael Papirski. He was added to the taxi squad. So I guess they flew him from Sugarland. So he is on the
Now,
taxi squad for now.
What about Jose Urquidy? Is he on the taxi squad?
I don't. He may be on the taxi squad.
I think he is.
He is with the Astros. I don't know if he's technically on the taxi squad, but he is with the Astros. He participated in batting practice day because he will be joining the team and starting against the Padres this weekend, because he will
Okay.
Yeah, he will be taking the place of Zack Greinke in the rotation. So he'll be the Astros were going with the 6-man rotation. So instead, Greinke will be definitely missing his start, at least one start. So for right now, Urquidy will be sliding into his start, and we'll see what happens there. So right now he'll just go there. So he was taking batting practice. Luis Garcia was also taking batting practice, and you know how much those guys love to bat, and so you can they showed pictures and everything. But
and you know, Eric, this is a good time for us to face the Padres. I hope it works in our favor, because they're kind of down right now. They're not the swaggy team that we saw come to Minute Maid Park and take 2 of 3 from the Astros. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And Baker said that we miss Urquidy. He's one of our main guys on our pitching staff, and it's great to have him back. It's been a trying year where we get one back and lose another, but we're fortunate enough to replace quality with quality. A lot of teams can't do that or don't have the personnel to do that. So like the Red Sox, what did they do? I still don't understand how they're able to do that, but they were able to make a trade with the Indians to, I guess, since it was for cash, they're able to get Brad Peacock. And Brad Peacock has not made a appearance in the big leagues this year. So he started today. I didn't really see how he did.
Really interesting.
So he started for the Red Sox today. So in other news, Marwin Gonzalez made his first start with the Florida Coast League Astros. He was 1 for 4 with a single. I think he had 2 strikeouts, if I remember correctly, as well. Andre Scrub also began his industry assignment with the Astros, the Florida Coast League Astros as well. Yeah. So that's pretty good. And so also Chas McCormick, we talked about his game the day before. He was also 2 for 4 today with a walk and 2 runs scored today. So he looks like he's ready to go. But here's the situation the Astros have. By the time y'all are listening to this, it's September 1st right now. The Astros have to expand their roster to 28 players. They've already added their 2 players that they have. So they need to add 2 more players. Now, you might say, well, what about Urquidy and Chas McCormick? Chas McCormick is not ready to come back yet. So they can't add him back until possibly Friday. Urquidy, what's the sense of adding him if he's not going to pitch until this weekend? So they may be flying somebody up from Sugarland. Michael Papirski is a logical choice since he's already up there. Why don't
I would definitely, why
add
not?
him? I'm not sure if he's on the 40-man roster. If you kind of look that up real quick, but I don't think he's on the 40-man roster right now. But the Astros did add another depth option because the Astros really don't know what's going on with Jason Castro, and but they did add 38-year-old veteran catcher Drew Butera to a minor league deal. He'll report to the Sugarland Skeeters in the next couple of days, and he'll probably join the Astros at some point this season. So what that means is that instead of if Castro's out for a long period of time, they're probably not going to stick with Papirski as the backup catcher. They want somebody with some.
Yeah, he's not on there. But now I have a question. If Castro's on the 10-day IL, does he come off the 40-man so you can put Papirski on there?
60-day IL, but the way the Astros can do it though is by Greinke and
that's true.
Greinke and Jones being on the COVID list.
COVID protocol.
You can add players who are not on the 40-man roster.
But so Papirski could okay. Or he could take one of those 2 spots they expand to. Yeah, see, I like
Yeah, well, but he has to be on a 40-man roster before he can do that.
makes sense. Okay.
So, but as long as those 2 guys are on the COVID list, you can add somebody who's not on the 40-man roster.
Okay.
But before you add Butera to the 40-man roster, you are going to have to drop somebody.
See, this is why you teach math and I teach history.
Yeah.
Like this stuff, honestly, to me, and for those listening, there are a lot of intricacies about the roster and the juggling that it really takes some masterminds and some wizards to keep up with this stuff. I can't imagine at the major league level, especially with all the COVID protocol stuff, how much more difficult it is to manage a major league roster than it was
That's
even
why there's
5 years ago.
assistants to assistants like they have in the office. You
Right.
always have those. So Butera has played for 12 years with 5 different clubs, including the 2015 Royals, and he had a big part in that Game 4
He
of the
did.
2015. And I the game that still gives me nightmares because I was there, and I think he drew a 10 pitch walk with 1 out and 2 men on, and Alex Gordon followed with a grounder to drive in the go-ahead run.
So should we boo him if he gets into a game?
No.
I'm joking. I'm completely joking.
If we were able to cheer Carlos Beltran, I think we can.
No, he's right.
Butera.
No, he is. I mean, he's basically for depth at Sugarland is how they worded it in the press box materials.
If Castro's out for the rest of the season, he's going to be depth for the Houston Astros because Papierski, I mean, depending on what he shows over the next couple of days, if he does get added
See, I've heard Papierski is the guy. The reason why they added this other guy is to have depth in the in Sugarland because they're still going. They actually extended their league a couple more weeks, so they're actually playing a full season. So.
Yeah, so this year he was where is it? This year he appeared in 49 games with the batting .222 with 7 doubles, a triple, 4 home runs, and 11 RBIs.
Oh wow!
So I mean, it's not great, but he's a catcher. I mean, look at Maldonado's stats.
Everybody can't be Yadier Molina, right?
Yeah, so something like that. So, Jared Kelenic has struck out 20 of his 32 plate appearances against the Astros this year. 20 of his 32. And I didn't update
That's
it.
impressive.
So he struggled against the Astros. And a lot of people, I know, got in conversation with Brandon of Talking Stros, and he said, who would you rather have over the next 5 years, Jake Myers or Kelenic? And if you are a front office GM or somebody. And I still think that Kelenic has a opportunity. I think that maybe the Mariners should have cashed in earlier when he was hot in spring training, called him up then, and gave him a chance to shine while he was rolling. But instead, they let him play in the minor leagues.
But I mean, look how Alex Bregman started his career, 0 for 27. I mean, look how guys. I mean, Kelenick's real test will be next year when he makes the roster out of spring training and he is their everyday center fielder.
Defense is ugly.
But he's one of the dude. He's like their number 1 draft pick. It doesn't matter if defense is ugly. The guy is going to be their center fielder next year.
It's going to matter.
No, I know, but I'm just saying he's young. You saw how Miles Straw has grown this year, dude. Miles Straw's out in Cleveland crushing it, not just home runs, but making catches, dude. He's a freaking human highlight film right now.
Something that we didn't address this past weekend was that the Astros have made all their non-playing employees wear masks. So
really, I didn't know that.
That's something that they've done, and you've noticed that a lot of the Astros players have started wearing more masks, and more players and personnel are wearing it, even though a lot of them are doing it. So I know Tanner Rome did this, and Dusty Baker has been kind of one of the people, and he said that I think people are becoming more and more aware. Even if vaccinated, there's a chance you get COVID again. During the trade deadline, I had COVID. I had the vaccination, so it was. And that was me, not Baker. And so going back to Baker, I've always worn my mask. There were people getting on me for always have my mask and gloves on, but I have some underlying issues in the past. There have been some players here who have worn it quite frequently, but it's becoming more and more apparent that we need to have more. Greinke, I know he struggled, You have to wonder if that had anything to do with why he struggled in his last appearance.
Yeah, could be.
And Taylor Jones, that's still just a weird combination. I mean, maybe there's two separate issues, like you
Yeah,
said.
I don't think it's related at all. I don't think it's like they went to have a burger together and they both got COVID.
Can you imagine that conversation?
Well, no, I mean, and that's the thing, not to get off in the weeds in that, because I don't think our people listening really care about a whole lot of that stuff.
Right.
But the bottom line is they've got the personnel up. They're just going to have to navigate these waters. I think they come out in the afternoon game, Eric, and I think they win. I think they go to San Diego. Yeah, I think Odo is pitching well lately. I think he'll do fine, and I think they'll go to San Diego and take care of business. And hey, just to let the people know, coming up this week, we will be doing a crossover with Javi Pena from Locked On Padres.
Yeah, I know we're very excited about that, and he's definitely an interesting character, and we've done podcasts with him in the past, and he's a blast to have on. So, definitely Jake Odorizzi. If Martin Maldonado is his catcher, he's definitely going to perform really well. And I'm sure if you listen to Locked On Bets podcast, they're probably going to look, okay, who's his catcher to say? Okay, let's go with Jake Odorizzi. And so that's what I'm sure your boy Q and that's what they're saying at the Locked On Bets podcast. So make sure you go and listen to them on Odyssey, Apple, wherever you listen to your podcasts, or go subscribe to them on YouTube, and go and subscribe to the Locked On Astros podcast on YouTube as well. So it is now officially 12:55 a.m. and H-Town's probably ready to get out of here. I'm ready to get out of here, get some sleep, and tomorrow's day game, so we don't have to stay up so late. So we will be talking Astros after another victory tomorrow, hopefully. Go Astros, and see you tomorrow.